I just want to leave you, these are some of the leadership traits that over my life experiences, and it's kind of linked a lot to the military, but as you're sitting there, apply it to what you all do in your civilian life, the legal part of what you do. I think you're going to find applications the same way. These are, when I talk to young second lieutenants that just become commissioned and they get ready to go, and you think about this, a 22-year-old or 24-year-old lieutenant, we all of a sudden, we put him through officer candidate school like they did me, and I didn't know anything about nothing. All of a sudden, you're in charge of 39 soldiers. That's what the military does. A platoon leader is in charge of 39 soldiers. Company command, and that's about the ages 22 to 26. Where in the civilian world would you ever get the opportunity in your whole lifetime, most people, to ever be in charge of 39 people? I don't care what age you are. I don't care what education level you got. A company commander is in charge of, and that's about somebody about 26 to 32. That's a captain, commands 131. A lieutenant colonel, ages 35 to 40, has a battalion of 650. So I'm just saying, in the military, we tend to throw officers into leadership positions. So, man, you got to learn on the go, and you make some mistakes. And to me, there's an art of leadership, and there's the science of leadership. And I get in the military, which I say, are leaders born, or can you grow them? And there's plenty of debate. A lot of people on both sides of that one. I think you can grow leadership skills. The art's kind of something that's kind of in you a little bit. And our really super leaders have grown, but they also had that innate ability. And here's something that I say: where should a commander, where should a leader be located on the battlefield, or where should they be located in any type of situation? And I've always found this a little bit to say, they should be located where they can best influence the success of the mission that's going on at that particular moment. There isn't no answer. There is no answer to say a leader should always be at this location. You should always be at the tactical operations center. You should always be the first guy in line. You should be this or that. No, you got to know what your mission is. You got to know what's important. There's times as a commander I might want to be in the rear to make sure that I got to assure that the resupply, because that's the most important thing to keep this thing going, because the enemy is really not there yet. Movement's not a problem, but I got to make sure that I can keep the fuel and the sustainment going, or I will not meet the time that my boss wants me to be there. So as a commander, you might want to be in the rear for that moment. Or another time, you know, with that lead element, if they don't hit that right place and they make the right move and the left to right, and that's so critical to this, because if we make that correctly, this thing's going to fall into place. Where should a commander be? He should be somehow, he's got to get it right there. And what I found over the years, you go out there and you go out to a situation and you got something going wrong, and you look at the commander, Bob, and you find out, you know, he's out there when he really should be here. And then you go down to the next company, you find out he's really right where he should be. See, that's the art, that person knowing where to be, where you can best influence the outcome of whatever you're trying to accomplish. But having said that, there's some other little one-liners. I always say, don't let them see you sweat as a leader. I can't tell you the number of times in my heart, I'm just, oh my God, it's turning apart in my stomach. But I know my guys, I know my gals that are watching me and how I conduct myself and how I handle that situation. If I start throwing things and I start acting like it's just falling apart and all hell's breaking loose, this ain't going to work. Have you ever worked for somebody like that? What the, I mean, man, why? Hey, you know, we're problem solvers. All of us. When you become the level that you are all out of the rest of you're going to be part of handling. It isn't how you handle the good times. It's how you handle those tough. The good times will just carry you right on. It's those really tough times, how you get through it, how you show that leadership, and how you're. That doesn't mean inside you can be scared, you can be worried. I don't know, little indecision, but you can't to your people. You got to be as strong and be as decisive as you can possibly be. Lead from the front, lead by example. I'm using that, a while ago I said you may not always want to be front, but yet you want your people to know that you're willing to always set the example. Listen to your staff before you make a decision. A lot of us get to the point where we think we know more than everybody else, and we got this staff, and I don't really need to listen. I have learned so much just by keeping my mouth shut. and let my staff just give it to me, and then I'm able to make a better informed decision, because more heads are better than one. And I say, why do you listen to your staff? Because in the military, you always see, like, there's just one general. I mean, there's more than one general, but there's one adjutant general. And as a battalion commander, there's only one colonel. Everybody else is subordinate to you, so you can dominate, you know, you can cut things off. You can just say, in the military, you can do it. I mean, you've got leaders that you work for in your organizations that are kind of that way. You're better if you just sit and listen and let your people know that they've been a part of the process. When you do make a decision, the people that are listening to you, they know at least that he didn't go along with what I said, but at least he listened to me, because I trust him. I know he was listening, and I got a chance to get back to it, and once that decision is made, you tend to follow somebody that you feel part of the process. Be tactically and technically proficient in your job. Know your job, know your product. That's so simply said, and it's so elementary, but have, you know, in the business world, you got a salesman that comes in that you can just tell right off the bat, they know their product, they believe in their product, they understand how it works, they've done their homework, they're prepared when they walk in that. It's easy to buy. If you're representing of a client and you've done your homework and you're prepared as you can be, you're all very proficient. You wouldn't be where you're at. But to be prepared, you always have to do that extra effort, and it always pays off in spades because people can see it. And finally, a couple things. Don't be a zero tolerance leader. And I've worked with some of those. You know, the minute somebody makes a mistake, then off with their head. And you get so worried about making a mistake. What happens in that environment? You lose initiative. All the great thoughts that you've got to do, you're afraid to do it because you'll get smashed. So try to not have a aura of if you make a mistake. And then as a leader, when you make a mistake, admit them and take accountability. I think in this nation, if there's one thing that concerns me the most is accountability for our actions. And let me tell you, everybody, you got people that you work for that you know darn good and well that they made a mistake, they went the wrong direction, and they try to pin the problem off to somebody else. It's always somebody else's problem, right? And be man enough or woman enough to say, you know, you guys told me, I should have listened to you. And they'll respect that. Now, having said that, if you make a mistake each day for the next month, you probably won't have a job very long. Well, anyway, we've got to move on. That's just some of the stuff that I think, if you get anything out of that, if it's something that you can apply. We've got in the Army, just the final thing, all of us have learned our values from our parents. Maybe there's other people you've worked for that you've identified as type of leadership that you just hope someday you can be like, and you've worked for those and been around those that you sure don't want to be like that. But in the Army, we've got these seven core values we try to always think about. It's loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. If you just think every day, you know loyalty, and don't you like to be part of an organization that you feel loyal to it and it feels loyal to you? We all know our duty, what we should do. That's our assignment. We know it well. Respect for people. You can't buy success of respect. You got to earn it. The people you most respect, they didn't force it on you. You respect them because how they've conducted themselves, and how they've served them, and how they've treated you, and how they've led you. Respect them, you trust them, you do anything for them. That's organizations that always will succeed. When the organization has so much respect and trust for that leader. And integrity, doing what's right, legally, morally, and more importantly, do it when nobody's watching. Doing that right thing when you know nobody's watching you. I can take the easy road on this one. I can make this decision that's just for me on this one because nobody's going to know. But you don't do it. You do the right decision. Well, thank you for the opportunity to do what you